Hey everyone, this is Christopher Brower here with Daily Motor, and today we are driving the 2021 Ford Explorer ST. Quite a controversial car that came out, it's been probably 2 years now. We've had the Explorer ST in the Ford Performance lineup. Not controversial necessarily for what it is, a high-performance SUV, but controversial for wearing this badge right here, ST. In America, we've always known the STs to be the Focus and the Fiesta, front-wheel drive, manual transmission, hot hatchbacks. So when Ford killed both of those cars and gave us this and the Edge ST, people were a little bit confused, but I think Ford is just trying to incorporate the ST badge into their new lineup of cars, and since people already knew what ST meant, that's what they decided to go with. I would say exterior-wise, this is a pretty good-looking SUV, a nice transformation from the last generation. And this is now, if you're not aware, a rear-wheel drive biased vehicle. No matter where you go, if you get just the normal Explorer or the ST, they are a rear-wheel drive biased chassis. And if you get the base Explorer, it is just a rear-wheel drive vehicle. So I think the way that they've redesigned this, it kind of looks rear-wheel drive-ish. It's a little bit sportier looking. Let's see if I can open this with my foot. Probably not, because the key is in the car. So we'll open it with the little button that's mounted there. Yes, as you can see, we have a third row seat that I can operate with and button. Third row seats, as well as captain's chairs in the middle. Pretty easy to operate. Wow, that goes down slow. Up and down with just the push of a button. I don't even have to hold it. Look at that. So pretty cool. A 3-row SUV wearing an ST badge. How about that? Actually, let's go around to the other side because my backpack's on that side. Oh, yes. And sitting in here in the back seat, it is just normal Explorer, except I've got these really nice leather seats with white stitching. I've got tons of legroom. I've got pink ambient lighting, which is customizable, don't worry. And I've got sunshades. Not power sunshades, but hey, at least you've got them. Got some reading lights right here, as well as a hook for your finely pressed linen jackets. I've got a couple vents back here for your children, which is ultimately who's going to be using the back seats. Something interesting to think about. Who is going to be the market for this car? Well, it's probably someone that maybe they used to drive a Focus ST and now they have 2 children, and this car came out at just the perfect time. Look at that. You've got your family hauler and you've still got the ST badge. You've still got those performance roots. And this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and if you get the bench seat in here, a 7-seater SUV. This SUV is also optioned with the panoramic moonroof. We've got an entire rear climate control panel with some USB ports and just a normal outlet right there. Can turn up our vent back here, as well as pick where we want it to go. We've got heated rear seats that have 3 settings, I think. Nope, they only have 2 settings. Sorry about that. And then we can adjust our temperature with this dial over here. All right, well, I think that covers the back seat, so let's move up to the front. I left this thing running today because it's absolutely freezing outside, and it was just blizzarding, but graciously, it has let up for our review, so how cool is that? Here's the key. It says ST on it. Very forward there. Kind of cool that they give you a unique key. Normal keys would just say 4 here, and they don't have this ribbed sort of design on them either, so kind of neat. Up front in the Explorer ST, we have this really nice, thick, flat bottom steering wheel with ST badging and paddle shifters. This particular car has this massive tablet-like touchscreen, which, to be completely honest with you, I'm not the biggest fan of. You can also option your Explorer with a smaller touchscreen. I'm not sure that you can do that in the ST, but in just a normal Explorer, it comes with a screen that's about this big, and it's horizontal as opposed to vertical. And I know they're trying to fit in with some modern trends like the big screens in Teslas and stuff, but those are still horizontal, and I don't know if I dig the vibe of the vertical screen, mostly because my Apple Carplay is tiny. and it's way up at the top. Hello? Okay, well, as you can see, the overall sort of vibe of this infotainment, it's just not really my favorite. The actual forward part of it, that reacts decently quick. We've got everything categorized into these 3 pillars here. Apple CarPlay. Let's see all the different phones that are in there. I mean, it's okay. If you want to know more about this infotainment, as well as the Bang & Olufsen sound system, make sure to check out Charlie's video on those items. He will have an in-depth review of both of those things. Well, what else? We've got a fully digital gauge display that changes depending on your drive modes. I think it looks the coolest in sport mode. Cool little animation upon putting it into sport as well. And with this, you get a rev counter, and the whole cluster turns gray and red. So that's pretty neat. Stick it back into normal mode. But first, let's cycle through all of the modes. We've got deep snow sand, trail, slippery. I like that animation the best. Normal, eco, sport, and tow haul. We're going to start our review today. Nope, not an eco. We're going to start our review in normal mode, and then we will progress into probably just sport mode for today's drive. We've got a little cubby here. Of course, I didn't mention the Apple CarPlay is wired. We don't have wireless Apple CarPlay in this Explorer, which is strange because my dad has a 2021 F-150 and that has wireless, so I was a little bit confused when this car did not have a wireless system. It's nice to see that even though we have this big vertical screen, we still have a volume knob, a tune knob, and physical controls for our climate control. That's pretty refreshing. And as I mentioned earlier, we can choose the color we want for our ambient lighting, and we can choose the brightness of it as well. What do you think? Let's do some red for the review because this is an ST. Okay, here we go. Funny enough, the only color choice of ambient lighting in the Ford Focus RS is red. If you didn't know, now you do. All right, let's take this thing out and see what it is like. Makes a little bit of a racket, this thing does. Pretty loud and sporty noise there. I don't know how much of that is being piped in versus how much is actual noise. And we've got quite a bit of traffic here, so I guess we can talk about the powertrain. So this Ford Explorer ST has a 3-liter twin turbocharged EcoBoost V6 that's backed by a 10-speed automatic. We've got 400 horsepower and 415 foot-pounds of torque in this thing. That is pretty quick. All right, I don't want to wait any longer. I want to go sport mode. The stupid drive mode selector is like inverted. It goes the opposite way that you think it would. And stop. See if it'll rev match a downshift. Ooh, a little bit bumpy there. Wow, sport mode really holds the gears pretty long. Fantastic road holding from this car, especially considering we're only on a set of all-season Pirelli tires. Something I've noticed about this car after driving it for the past couple days is it really encourages you to hoon it and drive it like an absolute maniac, which is so funny for an Explorer because you just simply don't expect that getting into this car. And hold on, rough ride section, that's another thing I want to touch on. Okay, we're gonna go back into normal so I can talk without the V6 screaming here. Okay, so let's go over a couple of things. The ride, well, it's stiff, and that could be because this Explorer ST is sitting on a set of 21-inch wheels. Standard, it comes with, I believe, 19. So these are an upgrade. These are like a $2,000 option, and they certainly don't help the ride. They look awesome, but they definitely don't help it in the ride department. So that stiff ride, paired with the crazy throttle response and just the overall soul of this car egging you on. Come on, let's drive faster, let's drive faster. Rev it out all the way to red line. It's really quite funny for a Ford Explorer, and it makes you question if it makes sense. And a lot of people, when this car came out, they're like, oh, it's just a rebadged Explorer Sport, but it's really not. It's a complete evolution, a completely different thing. This has some spirit and some soul from the Focus and Fiesta ST, and I know it's sad that those cars are gone, but there's a little bit of that in this Explorer, and you'll feel it if you drive it. Seriously, there's a little bit of that soul in this thing, and that's pretty cool. I can respect Ford for making this thing a little bit spicy and turning it up to 11 in that department. We're going to have an entrance ramp here. We'll go ahead and put this thing back into sport mode. I don't like the drive mode selector. It's just, I'm really not the biggest fan of it because it's inverted. You turn it to the right to go left. You turn it to the right to go left. Then you turn it to the left and it goes right. So it's like counterintuitive. It doesn't really make much sense. But anyways, back into sport mode here for the entrance ramp. It is wet out. We're not going to get a full test of this thing today. Which is kind of a shame. I was hoping to get a full balls test. Oh, it's going to slip if I go any faster. Woo! A little bit there. Feeling that rear-wheel drive bias, come on. Shift, thank you. Okay, it's a little slippery. And I have to turn it left to go right back into normal. There we go. We do have active lane keep assist as well as radar guided cruise. Being that it's a Ford, it's an okay system. Certainly not the best, not anything to the level that you'd find in a Hyundai or a Kia. But it works, it's there, and it's all right. Oh man. This car is kind of hilarious, and thinking about the market and the competitors of this car, the only thing I'd really compare this to would be the Durango SRT. And unfortunately, that's a car that I haven't driven, but I have driven the Durango Hellcat, and it has sort of the same spirit of this car where it's just like totally crazy. Of course, much, much more crazy because it's got about 300 more horsepower than this Explorer. I want to go back into sport because I want to try out the paddles. But it is cool to see that this isn't just... Oh, hold on. Oh, yes. Very... Oh, hold on. Very fast reacting paddles. That's fantastic. Let's do a little bit of a launch. Sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. And I also don't want to be in manual anymore. Ready? Ooh. 60. Okay. Yeah, this thing's a good amount of fun, and I don't know if that's going to be good for the people that actually want to buy this car, because it has a pretty rough ride. The throttle response is a little bit crazy. So does it fit the needs of a person that wants to be driving a hot, not even really hot, just a little bit of a faster Explorer? I think no. I don't think so. And luckily Ford makes a car that I think would suit those people, and it's called the Explorer Platinum. You still get the 3-liter EcoBoost V6. It just makes, I think, 35 less horsepower. I think you're sitting right around the 365 horsepower mark. And I have driven that car, and it's not nearly as wild as this one is. It's tuned way down. It's a little bit more comfortable. It's the natural progression for someone that's getting out of an Explorer Sport. I think this car, and I mentioned this earlier, makes more sense for someone who had a Focus ST and they now have 2 children. Because this is better than the Edge ST. This is sort of a generation newer than that car, and it feels it. This feels like a new Ford. It feels like it's tuned to be an ST. The ride is really, really dreadful though, guys, I'll be honest. It's a little bit disappointing, but it aids you in having all of the ST fun. So, with that being said, it's now nighttime. We started in the daytime, it's now nighttime. With that being said, this thing's pretty cool. Does it make that much sense? Probably not. Things I like, well, it's pretty quick, it's torquey, you've got so much room in the back, it's practical, and you've still got that ST flair. Things I don't like. The infotainment. I think that the vertical screen's a little bit cheesy. I don't love it. The ride. The ride is a little bit on the rough side. And for an Explorer, I think no matter what, it really should not be this rough. I also think the ambient lighting could be a little bit better. I only have it in the door handles, cup holders, and footwells. We've got none on the dash. Come on, guys. This is a $60,000 SUV. I think we should have some. Oh yes, I should touch on price. This Explorer ST as spec'd with pretty much every option. We've got the moonroof, the performance pack with the better brakes, the 21-inch wheels, is 60 grand. But the Explorer ST starts at around 50. I think it starts at 49. So you can get this car under 50 grand with no options. You can get the smaller wheels, which I think would be the way to go. Unfortunately, they're pretty ugly. I don't really like the way that they look. So that's kind of disappointing, but yeah, I mean, I think that they would still be the way to go. And you'd still have the sort of crazy ST-ness, but you'd have a little bit of a softer ride. And I think that would make this thing kind of where it needs to be in the segment. All right, everyone. Well, that's going to sum up our drive of the Ford Explorer ST. I apologize for that review being a bit all over the place, but this car is a little bit silly, and it kind of reminds me of like a Dodge in the way that it's just kind of a whole lot of fun and doesn't make too much sense. But that's okay, because in a fully SUV market, we're still gonna need some fun cars, and this thing is pretty fun for a 7-passenger SUV. So we'll praise Ford for that. Thank you for giving us something fun. Could use a little bit of a better ride, but we'll gloss over that and forgive them for now. I think that this thing deserves the ST badge, and getting into this, I didn't really think that it did, but ST badge, you're welcome here, and this is a pretty fun SUV. It hauls ass, and yeah, the stop-start button's in a little bit of a weird spot as well, but let's do our last little walk around here of this thing. those are a little bit ridiculous too. They're a little bit cheesy. Oh, all right, guys. Well, that's going to conclude our video today of the Explorer ST. Hope you enjoyed watching, and we'll see you very soon in the next video. This has been Christopher Brower for Daily Motor, and as always, drive on.